Hello, 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 and welcome to the second Anime Podcast Revived. Thank you for those who watched and commented on the last one. Or I shouldn't say watched, I should say listened. A shout out to the live chat. Modru, Booty, Walid, Sotos, Hunter, Tsel, K Daimonji says Ohayo. And the Dark Shadow is here. And anyone else who might be lurking, welcome. Just like last week, I'm not going to be playing any kind of music in the background. So if you want to add some light and relaxing lo-fi to go with the podcast type content, you're welcome to do so, because I don't want your music to compete with my music. So I'm just gonna not play anything. I would recommend this video over here. It's called Pokemon Gold Silver, but it's Japanese jazz fusion. So search for something like that. Definitely fun to have on in the background. But let's get started with this week's question of the week. I posted it on Discord a few days ago. And it says, if you could change only one result from the 2025 Animation Awards, what would it be and why? So the 2025 Animation Awards is like, I've been doing it for maybe 6 or 7 years now, where at the end of every year, I take a look at all the seasonals that I reacted to, and then we do like polls where people vote for their favorite from the winter season, the spring season. So I should probably just read the results from last year. Every year I do a video like celebrating it, but or I did a very long format video one year. Other years I just do like little clips and stuff, but this year I haven't really done anything. So this will be the announcement of the winners, technically. But for winter 2025, we had the Solo Leveling Season 2 as the best show of that season. Obviously only based on things that I reacted to. But usually I react to the top 4 or so shows in every season, or at least that is my goal. I want to do at least 4 per season, but it's not always possible. In spring 2025, we had Fire Force Season 3 as the best show of that season. Summer had Dan Da Dan Season 2, and fall 2025 had My Hero Academia Season 8. Then we had a best newcomer, which only consisted out of like shows that had the first season airing in 2025. The winner there was Gachi Akuta. And then Anime of the Year was based on the top 4 shows of each season, which was, drumroll please, obviously My Hero Academia Season 8, which was the final season of the show. So I am really glad that that one won. Anime of the Year on Patreon consists of non-seasonal shows that I reacted to. So Fate was the clear winner there. Best show that I didn't watch in 2025, the winner was Fragrant Flower. And every year I end up watching the one that wins. So just out of curiosity, I'll show you really quickly. Well, I won't show you. You don't need to look at the screen. I'll read it. But best show I didn't watch. In 2018, it was Violet Evergarden. So in 2019, I reacted to it and I loved it. In 2019, the winner for the best show I didn't watch was Vinland Saga. And I watched it the following year and I loved it, but I loved Season 2 even more. I'm really grateful that I watched, or how should I say this? I'm really grateful that Vinland Saga won in 2019, because if it didn't, I wouldn't have watched Season 2. And Season 2 is one of my top 5 favorite shows ever. Like, I really loved Season 2 of Vinland Saga. To me, it feels like Season 1 was just the introduction, like the setup. And then Season 2 is really where the content is, like, that's where the story is at. In 2020, Love is War won the poll, and I did enjoy the following seasons. Here's a quick question. Love is War. Is it finished? I heard that there was some movie or some OVAs and technically it's done. And I'm like, I didn't know about that even. In 2021, Mushoku Tensei won the poll. And I did eventually try watching that, but I dropped it. And I did a whole discussion on that already a few weeks ago before an Oshinoko reaction. Because someone compared Oshinoko to Mushoku Tensei, and I was not having it. So I'm not going to go into detail right now. I will try to remember. Booty, if you can write it down maybe. If anyone is interested in that video, I will post it in the description. But now that I'm saying that out loud, I remember saying yesterday, oh, I'll put this link in the description. I don't know what link I was supposed to put where, but if anyone wants it, you can just ask. I'll remember. In 2022, it was Blue Lock. And I'm really surprised because I thought I watched Blue Lock the year that it came out, but apparently I didn't. But I liked Blue Lock. 2023, Tengoku Daimakyo. I liked it. 2024, Blue Box. Dropped it. 2025, Fragrant Flower. Dropped it. It's really funny that the last 2 years, it was 2 romances. But I dropped them for very different reasons. Blue Box I thought was good, but I just did not. I was not having the love triangle thing, and I have a bias against... Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say... You know the Monogatari series? There's a very good reason that show is written achronologically, because if it was written chronologically, I would have dropped that too. So, but those are very personal reasons. Fragrant Flower, I dropped for a different reason. Someone did ask me the other day, why did I drop it? And I think well, that's not really what this video is about, so maybe I'll just say it wasn't for me. So, then we have the next category on the Anime Channel Awards was Best Boy. We had Deku. Then Best Girl was a little bit difficult because I knew people would want to vote for Reze. But I usually don't include movies. They just don't have the same budget. They don't have the same... But in the end, I broke down and I put Reze on the poll because it was anime content. Like, I mean, it was canon content. It wasn't some random movie. But I'm still not sure if I will regret that someday. But oh well. Reze was the best girl of the year. People would have wanted to vote for her. So definitely, you know, with that little meme. And she is really definitely a contender for most memorable girl of the year. There were others, of course. But I do think that Reze deserved to be on that poll. Best antagonist / villain, All for One. Best opening, Iris Out. Best ending, Jane Doe. Even though they're from a movie, most movies don't even have openings and endings. So really respect for them making openings and endings for that. Or an opening and an ending. Then we had Fight of the Year. Was very difficult to honestly put together. And I kind of went back and did not put movie fights. So the inconsistency of this year's polls is a little bit bothersome to me, but it's fine. All for One versus Everyone. It was the culmination of 8 seasons. I'm okay with that one. Let's just say I'm okay with being inconsistent because the winner needed to be remembered. And then Ship of the Year was Reze and Denji. Reaction of the Year is basically just the video that got the most views on my channel. It's just a small way to remember something big of the year. And it was One Piece episode 1136 reaction. And movie of the year was Spider-Man, 2002 and 2004. So my question was, to my patrons, to everyone on Discord, I mean, if you could change one of these results, only one, what would you choose? And I added, feel free to add if your answer doesn't include it. If your answer doesn't include it, what was special to you about 2025? Like anime or manga wise. So something that stood out for you about 2025. So for example, a new show that surprised you, the ending of one of your favorite shows. So basically, you can say which category you would change and also add something memorable about 2025. So Walid was the first response and said the movie of the year. It should have been Dragon Ball Evolution, which honestly was definitely memorable, but not movie of the year for me. Modru said, I would change Best Girl from Reze to Shinobu. It was a crime against anime to call Reze Best Girl in 2025. And that brings up an interesting conversation. Why a crime against anime to call Reze Best Girl? I feel like you meant it's a crime against anime for Shinobu not to win. Like you felt Shinobu was the clear winner for you, right? But why would it be a problem if Shinobu wasn't there? Why would Reze wouldn't be a problem, right? So I think that last sentence needs to be tweaked a little bit. But if I'm wrong, is that not what you meant, or you really don't like Reze for some reason? Then Tiago said, I would change the winter anime. Solo Leveling Season 2 for either Medalist or Sakamoto Days. I might lean more to Medalist if I really had to pick. The reason on both ends. I dropped the manhwa for Solo Leveling long before the anime came out. Yes, the visuals and battle choreography are amazing, but I got fed up with the story and characters. Ooh, fed up. Tiago, expand. I'm curious, fed up? Is it spoilery? When did you drop it? Like, has the anime adapted it to the point where you dropped it? As for Medalist, I love the character development, especially when I'm watching the dynamic between coach and skater, along with the expressions of each character, whether they're feeling down, excitable, or feisty. Medalist somehow manages to animate or show their expressions in a way that gives me a good laugh. Bob says, I would have swapped out Solo Leveling for Apothecary Diaries Season 2. And Valenon agreed with Tiago. Why do I struggle to say Ray sometimes? Ray. Okay. Ray says, the best show that you didn't watch should have been Medalist. And considering I dropped Fragrant Flower, I kind of wish that it was, because Medalist sounds like a really interesting, like a good story. And Fragrant Flower was, I'm sorry, it was not a good story. At least up to where I watched. It was, I don't even know. It's like wanting, I'm sorry, this is just going to be a very on the fly simile. But like, it's like wanting a chocolate cake and then you go to a shop and there's this gorgeous, beautiful, perfect looking cake. And then you lean in for a big bite and then it's like, it's not a real cake. Like, it looks great, but there's nothing inside of it. Sorry, that's my feeling on the matter, very personal. Then we have Espada's answer saying, best show you didn't watch. I would have changed it to Lord of the Mysteries. The Fragrant Flower was not it unless you want to sleep. Ooh, Lord of the Mysteries. I heard a lot about it. Actually, I've been hearing a lot about, it's a different kind of anime, right? There's not Japanese stories being adapted into anime. It's Korean? So I've been hearing a lot of good things about manhwa recently. Tiago says, in terms of manga to anime, I think I dropped it somewhat ahead of season 2. It just felt like a boring version of One Punch Man. Oh, so like the OP main guy just beating his way through everything. Yeah. I get you. The Magic Man of No Gemia. I would change the best show you didn't watch to Be a Hero X. It's the show that surprised me the most last year, and it's my favorite new anime of the year. I loved every aspect of the show, from characters to story to the unique structure. Everything was so well done. Another Chinese one, right? Chinese anime or... Wait. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Or is it an anime only? Tell me more, please. Then Shoru says, I would say either best show you didn't watch is medalist or best winter show is also medalist. But that's kind of the same answer. It's just basically saying your best winter show was medalist and you wish that, yeah, it kind of is connected. I see you there. Let's see. Let me just look up To Be a Hero X really quick. I'm pretty sure it's also like a manhwa or something. Oh no, it's an ONA. Oh, but it is a Chinese. It is also Chinese. Lord of the Mysteries, Link Click, also Chinese, right? Yes, an ONA. ONA means like there's no source material. It was straight into anime or something like that. What is the other one, Tiago? You gifted me the light novel or something. The one that everyone was reading and then they adapted it and then everyone was disappointed. A donghua. So what donghua is Chinese, manhua is Korean, the beginning after the end. That's also the same, right? Wow, looks like they are competing. And then we have Booty's answer. For me, I would change the best ship. It should be Gojo and Marin. An action-packed movie cannot compete with a full season for a ship. They shouldn't even be in the top 10. Momo and Okarun, Mao Mao and Jinshi should be the other top 3. The rest of the top 10 is for Rentaro and his currently 11 girlfriends, of course. I like how these franchises... Oh, wait. The franchises are either American or Japanese, and one is half British. Oh, we're talking about... so JD Ash was talking about this post that was the top 10 highest grossing franchises, and Pokemon was number 1 at 288 billion, and then Hello Kitty was like second at 88 billion. So there's a 200 billion difference between number 1 and number 2. Okay. Doji says, for me, it's simple. I would change the best show that you didn't watch, Fragrant Flowers, to be Hero X, even if I like it. So Doji does like Fragrant Flower, but he would change it to Be a Hero X. All the stuff that comes with that show is new and uncommon. The hero system is so good and genuinely creative in terms of story. That's the show I get the most invested in 2025. I'm really sad that that show, how did that show win? It's so... I don't get why it's so popular, but I guess as long as something looks pretty, I'm joking. Booch says, movie of the year, I would make K-pop Demon Hunters. It's the best movie I saw last year and that you saw more than likely. Eh? Although I think you saw Everything Everywhere All at Once last year too, and that movie rules. Maybe I'm being too hard on Spider-Man. I've seen the movie many times and I'm nostalgic for it, but I don't think it ages well. Tobey Maguire is a bad actor. And Sam Raimi movies are just a little too weird for my liking. Well, I had a great time with Spider-Man. Anime movies that you watched in 2025. Worst anime movie of the year was Bio Broly, and best anime movie, you didn't react to it, but Demon Slayer Infinity Castle was in 2025. And there's an absolute cinema Chainsaw Man. One of those two would most likely have won. But if it were up to me, the best anime movie of the year would have been Dragon Ball Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. That reminds me, what I used to do was, because I was catching up on One Piece, I used to have a separate category for One Piece because I was like binging it for a few years, right? So we would have like best Straw Hat, best supporting character. But more recently, I caught up with One Piece. So I thought I would change it to Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball would have its own category, but I feel like I went through Dragon Ball too fast. And wait, did I watch all of DB in 2024 and then Z was 2025 and now this year is Super, right? I could have actually done categories for that. Shoot. I was waiting for the first one that wouldn't be able to count up to 1. And the Espada just changed 3 things. But that was after his official answer. I think he already officially answered and now I'm just reading random things. Ooh. Here is a trailer for the Witch Hat Atelier. And actually, that's something that I think I would like to do pretty soon. Like once every 4 months or so, before a new season starts, I should have a question of the week asking, which anime are you most looking forward to next season? And then I would like to react to all the trailers. But if I do reactions, they need to be edited. So it's a bit of a problem. But what I could do, I could just read, or I don't know. But that could be a pretty fun video in the future. Let's see. 40 years ago today, the iconic anime series Dragon Ball aired its first episode. That was on the 26th, so 2 days ago. 40 years of Dragon Ball. Crazy. Okay, now we have a really, really long Dragon Ball Super discussion. So I'm just scrolling past that really quickly. Somebody hurt my feelings. Now I want to kill everyone. Whoa, this is actually a really interesting conversation. I don't know how it went from Dragon Ball Super, spoiler content for me, and then we switched to talking about, when did we start talking about Naruto? Can I get distracted really quickly? Flashbacks and so edgy. It's not Dragon Ball for me. Bro, you lost so many points in my eyes. Looks at notes. Anime channel. But they're talking about anime? We were talking about anime at first and then we switched to manga. Oh, yeah, that's the problem. Don't do that. So anyways, trying to scroll past. We'll take a moment here to also say happy birthday to the Jujutsu Kaisen author that had their birthday in the last week. And then Megumin's voice actress also had her birthday in the last week, so happy birthday. And not only is she Megumin, but she's Hutao, Emilia, and I. Ray gave another answer. The best show that I didn't watch should have been Medalist or Takopi, one of the best new anime last year. A journey into a life of a figure skater is pretty interesting. Technically a similar concept as other sports anime, but this has a pretty unique perspective in comparison to other sports because of the nature of it. What is the nature of it? I wouldn't call 2026 super. I think it's just okay. The Spotter deleted a bunch of comments, I guess talking about the manga. I'm not sure Vala and Walid also deleted. Maybe. Dio gave also an answer. Best show I didn't watch was To Be a Hero X. It's a very strong cast, a chronological order, so it makes you invested in the story mystery. You are solving piece by piece. Original visual use, great quality and creativity. It could be anime of the year. Whoa, this is making me really want to watch the trailer for To Be a Hero X, guys. And I think this is the last one, is Mr. Drakenschnado. I was debating between changing Best Girl and the Ship of the Year, but in the end, I think I will go with the latter. Not that it really matters, since the reasoning is the same for both. I don't really care about Reze, nor do I get why almost everyone else seems to love her so much. Not to say that I don't think she's an interesting character, but in terms of both categories I mentioned, she wouldn't have been a consideration for me. It may be in part due to the expectations or preconceptions I had going into the movie. I didn't see it in the cinema, even when it released online. It was still a while before I got around to it. So there was plenty of hyping it up beforehand, as much as I tried to avoid anything about it. The Marin X Gojo ship is the one that I voted for. I really loved the season as a whole, and spoiler alert, but that is the nature of these kind of videos, I loved seeing Marin's feelings develop. That made it the obvious choice for me. Interesting. I don't actually know if I ever talked about like what I would have voted for. So that would be pretty interesting if we have a moment. Posts. Let me scroll down and see where my votes began. I think it began about somewhere. Here we go. This is the first poll. So the first one was between, this one was best show of a winter. Best winter show in 2024. So the results, the poll was between Dr. Stone Science Future, Apothecary Diary Season 2, Sakamoto Days or Solo Leveling Season 2. For me, it would be between Dr. Stone and Apothecary Diaries. So what I'm going to do is, let me quickly write down my results of the, if I had to do the poll. Dr. Stone had very interesting concepts, but if I were to rewatch something, it would be Apothecary Diaries. So as a whole, my winner would be Apothecary Season 2 out of those 4 choices. Honestly, Sakamoto Days was a little bit of a letdown to me. It sounded very cool, but then it's like it kind of just missed a mark for me. Maybe part 2 more than part 1, but it just didn't feel like it lived up to expectations. So then, for the best 2025 spring show, there was Fire Force Season 3, Windbreaker Season 2, Vigilantes, and then I didn't watch anything else except Please Put Them On Takamine-san, which ended up winning the poll. Oh my god. Wait, did I? Did I write that down? Why do I feel like that's not written down? I put Fire Force Season 3, but the actual winner is Please Put Them On Takamine-san. It's a lie. It's a lie. It was a tie. It's not a tie. 37%, 30%. Maybe it was a tie back then, but there's a 7% difference. I should change it. It's not. It deserves the win. Takamine was always winning or tie up until the end. Whoa, okay, I'm changing it. Oh, actually, look here. I did write it down. It's tied with Please Put Them On Takamine, but I chose Fire Force instead since I post some reactions on YouTube, whereas Takamine-san was fansly only. But I'm gonna actually... The real winner is Takamine. I'm gonna edit it. Edit. In the end, Takamine was 7% higher. It's the real winner. If it was Takamine-san versus Fire Force Season 3 Part 2, I would go with Fire Force Season 3 Part 2 over Takamine. But honestly, I see why Takamine-san... No, I'm joking. I don't know. I don't care. For me, it would be Vigilantes. That to me was exciting, fresh, new, you know, but it had that nostalgia about My Hero Academia. You're not really ready to let go, so it kind of like gives you a little bit more. But Windbreaker Season 2 was one of the most disappointing things. It took some kind of turn somewhere that I was just not feeling. So for me, it would be Vigilantes. Vigilantes. Then summer 2025 had quite a stacked lineup with Gachi Akuta, Dress Up Darling Season 2, Kaiju number 8 Season 2, and Dan Da Dan. But it's a clear... So these three, 1, 2, 3... It would be Dan Da Dan, Dress Up Darling, Gachi, and Kaiju for me. My Dress Up Darling Season 2 made me cry at one point, but the winner is going to be, as a whole, in terms of entertainment for every single episode and creativity and stuff, Dan Da Dan Season 2. And then the fourth poll was Best 2025 Full Anime. Okay. So I only watched 3 things, and it was One Punch Man, Spy Family, and My Hero Academia. And I'm shocked, I tell you, that One Punch Man has 12% of the votes. That means out of 2,200 people that voted, 200 people at least voted for One Punch Man. 200 people with a straight face said, yes, One Punch Man Season 3 is better. They did not watch the other 2 shows. I cannot imagine it. I kid. It was fun. Sorry about that. Obviously for me, it would be My Hero Academia Season 8. And then so the actual top 4 based on everyone's vote was My Hero Academia, Dan Da Dan, Solo Leveling, and technically Takamine-san, although here it says Fire Force, but there was a tie, but now there's no tie. But my top 4 would be Apothecary Season 2, Vigilantes, Dan Da Dan Season 2, and My Hero Academia. And my winner would be My Hero Academia. So that would be my anime of the year. And I think actually that is everyone's. Yes, My Hero Academia got 52% of the votes. So more than double of Dan Da Dan and Solo Leveling. Poor Fire Force. I cannot believe Fire Force got less votes here than One Punch Man did here. Because My Hero Academia is on both polls. So My Hero Academia versus One Punch Man got more votes than Fire Force versus My Hero Academia, which doesn't actually make sense to me. But There's a reason Fire Force is only 4%. It is because it was the fake winner. It was an accident. So my winner of the year of 2025, Best Anime, My Hero Academia Season 8. Just the way that everything came together was absolutely amazing. So, what was the best show of 2025 that I did not react to? Kaoru Hana wa Rin Tosaku is the winner. I tried it. I could not keep watching it. It just... It was, to me, to summarize, very, very superficially, just a pretty thing to look at. But it had no substance. And yes, I only watched 7 episodes, but I know from a very early stage if I'm going to like a show or not. And I wasn't going to put myself through more because I don't want to spend time insulting people's favorite shows, you know? That's not really why I'm here. So if I don't click, I'm just going to move on. I did like the main male character. I was curious, but it wasn't enough to keep me watching. If I had to choose between the other 3, To Be a Hero X, Lord of the Mysteries, and Lazarus, let's take a little peek at those shows. So starting with, wait. To Be a Hero X, Lazarus, and Lord of the Mysteries. So let's take a quick Lord of the Mysteries. So, To Be a Hero X. This is a world where heroes are created by people's trust, and the hero who gains the most trust is known as X. In this world, people's trust can be quantified through data, and these values are reflected on everyone's wrist. As long as one gains enough trust points, an ordinary person can possess superpowers and become a superhero who saves the world. However, the constantly changing trust values make the path of a hero full of uncertainties. That sounds like a freaking cool concept, and I would absolutely love to watch this. And there's always like characters rolling that just have cool designs, and it just looks like a really fun show to watch. There's a bunch of main characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are there more? Whoa. 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 main characters. I so want to watch this someday. Then there's Lazarus. The year is 2052, an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity prevails across the globe. The reason for this? Mankind has been freed from sickness and pain. Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist Dr. Skinner has developed a miracle cure-all drug with no apparent drawbacks called Hapuna. Hapuna soon becomes ubiquitous and essential. What is ubiquitous? However, soon after Hapuna is officially introduced, Dr. Skinner vanishes. 3 years later, the world has moved on, but Dr. Skinner has returned, this time as a harbinger of doom. Skinner announces that Hapuna has a short half-life. Everyone who has taken it will die approximately 3 years later. Death is coming for this sinful world, and coming soon. As a response to this threat, a special task force of 5 agents is gathered from across the world to save humanity from Skinner's plan. This group is called Lazarus. Can they find Skinner and develop a vaccine before time runs out? That sounds pretty cool. They're supposed to develop a medicine to save them from the medicine. That's a bit funny, but cool. No doubt. So To Be Hero X has an 85% average score, and Lazarus has a 70% average score. To Be Hero X has 34,000 completed, and Lazarus has 45,000 people. So it's Lazarus is the more. Oh no, wait, that's planning. Completed. Oh, completed 27,000 for Lazarus. That is so funny. I've never really seen that. There's more people that has this on their planning list than 45 versus 27K. That's usually not how it looks. The completed is usually more than the planning. That's natural. There's more people that have Lazarus on their planning list than who have actually watched To Be Hero X. That's interesting, huh? I've never seen that kind of... But anyway. So one has an 8.5% average score. One has a 70% average score. And then last but not least, Lord of the Mysteries has the shortest about. In a Victorian world of steam, dreadnoughts, and occult horrors, Zhou Mingrui awakens as Klein Moretti. He walks a razor's edge between light and darkness, entangled with warring churches. You lost me. This is the legend of unlimited potential and unspeakable danger. It's a bit... Why is it in chibi form? Why is all of them chibi? That's not what the anime looks like, right? This one has an 84% average score and 34,000 on planning, 23,000 completed. This one has the smallest about, but I would be more interested in one of these based on the about. Let me tell you, there's no way I'm trusting a doctor named Skinner. So yeah, this is the order I would watch it in. To Be Hero X, Lazarus, and the Lord of the Mysteries. Based on just its own, like, how it sells itself. Mysteries is in the name, Kayla. They can't give too much away. It's not just that. I can kind of explain it this way. I was hesitant to watch Gachiakuta because I was kind of like bored of the whole us versus them type of dynamic. But Gachiakuta obviously delivered. But I was hesitant to watch it because sometimes, you're tired of having the same kind of themes or the same kind of tropes or whatever. Like, anime has a lot of, the church is evil in it. Fair enough. Religious people are some of the most crazy fanatics out there. So I get it's an easy thing to exploit in a story. But this one, it sounds way more interesting because it sounds more modern. It's taking on like a something that's practical that you can, like I said today when I was watching Fire Force, oftentimes I like stories because we can learn from them. Not very literally, but through having that kind of dialogue about the story and the characters. I don't know, we can learn something as a community from each other, from what the story is trying to say. And this one just sounds more relevant. Lord of the Mysteries needs a lot of focus to watch. But then it might be something that's better to be read. Because there's just, when it comes to something that's lore heavy or detail heavy, the manga or the light novel or whatever is always going to be better. But, oh wait, this one is, it doesn't have, it's an ONA, so there's no manga. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to watch the trailer at some point and see for myself, but it does look pretty deep and dark. I would watch it, but after To Be Hero X. Okay, well, what was I doing? Here. So, for me, if I could choose one of these, that is not that one, it would be to be Hero X. Best Boy 2025 was between Jinwoo, Deku, Bakugo, and Okarun. For me, I said emotionally it's Bakugo, but more objectively, it would be Deku. So I remember already saying that I would vote for Deku. So as much as I love Bakugo and his growth over the seasons, in season 8 specifically, I would probably go with Deku as my best boy. Then doing best girl took a little bit more effort. I needed it to narrow it down for a top 4. We had Amo from Gachi. We had Uraraka from My Hero Academia. We had Momo from Dan, Reze, Marin, Shinobu, Iris, Yoru, and the solo leveling girl. Cha Hai-in. Who is Peku? It's Deku. Shish you. So then the people had to comment. And the top 4 were Shinobu, Reze, Momo, and Marin. And it was a very, very close race between these 3. But Reze... And if you ask me now, she's like a... Reze is like a one-hit wonder. You know, in music, one song, even if you don't know the band, that one song just sticks in your head. It's like I don't know. So Reze has that one-hit wonder spark. But I do understand why some people just don't, you know? Like, I love her. If I had to vote for a best girl, I think what I like about Reze is the unexplored potential of her character, but she's this kind of like mystery where it's like a diamond that you had in your grasp and then it slipped away, like the one that got away. She has that kind of energy, so that's why she's memorable. But the other girls, I feel like it's okay for them, these two, Momo and Marin, they are building into being some of the best heroines in anime, right? So really for me it would have been between Shinobu and Reze, honestly. But I understand why Reze won. Oh. And probably... I guess it's kind of like Deku and Bakugo. I want to vote for both. But one really won. And objectively it should be Deku. With Reze, it's like almost... Reze and Shinobu is almost like that. Where Shinobu is Deku and Reze is Bakugo. So I should say Shinobu. But it's difficult to be objective here. And I'm not being... It's never true objectivity. Cannot be. But I'm trying to be... No! I have to watch the movie again. This is one of the hardest freaking polls. Best girl, man. Best girl. What I get... No, I'm gonna go with Shinobu. Shinobu. She already won, okay? I'm giving it to Shinobu. She's giving you something, and don't come back after that and you can't have more. That's why people love her. Huh. I'm not gonna lie, a little part of me hoped she would come back in the manga, but I think the manga's finished now, so if you say she doesn't come back, then... Okay. What I like about her is she's crazy. How she's crazy, it's hot. She deserves the first place. Of course Sotos would say that. Just give me a second. Hanku, aku ada korki meow. Is it Toshi? Is Nami bij je? Zit er maar Toshi, nee? Aku ada korki iewers. Extreme. Okay. Toshi, is it you? Ja, dat is jij. Oh, baby. Sorry, I heard a cat meowing and I was worried. And I think it's Toshi. She just does that sometimes. Okay, so we had nominations for Best Antagonist. And here, for me, the easy answer is All for One. Between All for One, Kaiju number 9, Stanley Snyder, and the Ant King Beru, which was one of the biggest disappointments for me in 2025, was that Ant King. And now I don't think I can keep voting here, because if it comes to the songs, I would have to listen to all the songs. Kusushiki. Oh, maybe this would be my winner, actually. I loved this song. But Iris Out, Kenshi Yonezu. I love these too much. And On the Way by Aina. Oof. No, but one of these two would be my favorite. But I'm going to go with Kushiki by Mrs. Green Apple. It's the one I've listened to the most. Kushiki. Then, which of these are you most looking forward to? Oh, this was a different poll. This was about the new season. Okay, never mind. We're skipping that one. Ending songs. We had the ending song for My Hero Academia, Dress Up Darling, the Reze movie, and Hitori Goto from Apothecary Diaries. My winner would probably be Bump of Chicken, mainly because of how fitting it is and how it closes the lost season of My Hero Academia, and it just... But Jane Doe deserves the win, but my vote is gonna go to the Bump of Chicken song. Bump of Chicken. On the Way is my most favorite because the singer have a crazy vibe in her. On first take, I listen to it every day. You like them girls? You like the girls crazy. You wonder why your life looks the way it looks. I'm kidding. So then I had nominations for Best Fights, and the poll was Everyone versus All for One, Jinwoo versus Beru, which was 2 seconds long, Okarun versus Evil Eye, and the Mecha Buddha versus the Space Kaiju. This one was very memorable to me. Sadly, I would need to rewatch this one, even though I'm sure it was amazing. But the way that the whole 8 seasons came together with this fight, and it was a whole season basically based on one fight. So for me, it has to be All for One versus Everyone. I also consider the ED result for my answer, but the two I mentioned made more sense since Jane Doe is at least a good song. I don't remember it. That's why I said this is a bit of a difficult one, because I would have to listen to all the songs to make an informed choice. So I'm going with the one that I remember the most, which was Kusushiki by Mrs. Green Apple. Bump of Chicken. And then, last but not least, we have the Best Ship. Marin and Gojo will still have their chance to shine. Mao Mao and Jinshi will still have their chance to shine. Uraraka and Deku, they didn't do anything there for us. And so I'm going to go with the one that would have been amazing, but it could never be. And that is the tragedy in that. Is what makes it special and memorable. So I'm going to go with Reze and Denji. I didn't vote for her as best girl. I didn't vote for the songs from that movie. So I'm not being biased here. I feel when I say they were the most memorable, like, yeah. They deserve this one the most for me. If I had to, from all the categories that Chainsaw Man took, this one is okay, but actually no. These songs are also amazing. But these other two couples will have their chance to shine. So okay. But before I ramble on for too long, thank you everyone who answered. I definitely will keep To Be Hero X on my radar. I'm really sad that it didn't win in the first place after being very disappointed by Fragrant Flower. Here's a quick trailer of To Be Hero X. Not really spoilery, but it's a quick presentation. There are also many others because it was teased for 3 or 4 years. This is unavailable in my region. I wouldn't have been able to watch it anyway because, at least not in this video. But let's just say that To Be Hero X is definitely on my radar. And if I had to change... actually, I never really fully answered the question. I went through the polls. Oh, well, then technically I answered every question. But if I only could change one single one. Let me see what it would have been. Let me see. One. Honestly, yeah, at this point, for me, it would be, I wish Fragrant Flower was To Be Hero X. Everything else, I'm happy with the results. I can see why that's a nice show. I don't see how it could be the best show that I didn't watch. Let me quickly compare something. This one has an 85% average score, 34K completed. And then Fragrant Flower. I'm feeling like this is turning into a Fragrant Flower hate video, and it's not that. I'm just really surprised. I understand why people liked it. This one has also an 85% mean score. So they have the same score, but this one has a 69,000 people that completed it. 69,596. So this is the more popular show. And at the end of the day, these polls are always going to be popularity contests. Because if you didn't watch it, you can't vote for something, right? But they do have the same mean score and average score, 85% for both. Which means that among the people who watched it, who actually did watch it, But okay, hopefully someday I get to watch it. Thank you for another fun question of the week, talking about anime and things. I will have to think about the next question. But I'm glad that we could spend some time talking about the 2025 Anime Channel Awards, because it's always nice to take a stroll down memory lane and remember some good things before we fully indulge in 2026 and its new shows. A new season is coming up, however, so I have a feeling that next week, maybe I just want to hear like which shows are you looking forward to the most, because there are a few very exciting ones. And I want to know what I should be aiming to watch. Okay. Justice for Reze, Best Antagonist 2025. You'll have to be more annoying about it for the next one. Oh, I missed your... Okay, well, if you... At least those messages were on the screen, so I didn't miss them entirely, but... Best Antagonist. Fair. But no, All for One had to be. All for One. Okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye.